that. One second. Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Tuesday, second day of the week, and the markets are acting very fascinating. Let's get up to let's see, where's it? The dollar index. Where's the dollar index? Slide that up. There's the dollar index. The dollar just keeps on finding ways to go back up again. The anticipation now is a 58% chance of a rate cut in June. That's where they're at this point. It keeps on, we keep on dancing, I guess you could say. We keep on trying to, I don't know, trying to put up, how's it work in the end result? I guess you could say, they want free money. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I'm trying to find a way to describe it. They just want free money. That's it. Everybody wants free money. We all want free money. And so they want the interest rates down. And they don't care how they come down, but they want them down. They want to pay less. That's all it comes down to. They want free money. And, they've spent over the last 3 years $7 trillion, and they're just hooked on it like a drug. And so the ruling party that's in power right now, which looks like they're going to go flying out the door in 7 or 8 months, but right now they just know only one thing, and that is more free money. So they can buy more things, votes, or, create policies that make it look like they're doing something, anything, because, a lot of people have the idea that you can just spend money and you're going to get things resolved. And that's always not necessarily the case. But that's why we keep on seeing this dollar stay relatively firm. It's holding above the 100. It's at 103 as we speak. It's in that area now, 103 and a half to be exact. But they just keep on reaching for that free money. They don't know how else to do it. They've been doing it for so many decades now. Robin and I were talking about it this morning. They're just so used to it for over 100 years, playing around with the free money and slowly taking advantage of every opportunity. So that's pretty much, that's why it looks crazy. That's why the markets look crazy. It's because the people in charge, or at least controlling the levers at the moment, don't understand anything else but free money. That's what it comes down to. All right, let's take a look at the dollar index on the old platform, the one we still use. It's the main platform. Let's see, where is that at? Switch screens. And there it is, right there. You see, just the firmness again when it comes to the dollar. And I guess, basically you would assume that the bonds have dipped again. They keep on dipping, and no one talks about it too much. The last couple of days have been sideways after that big drop, and now it's trying to drop again. Is that right? That's yesterday. Let's see what today looks like. That's the challenge of the old platform. You have to, you have to switch it over from the overnight trading to the daily trading, that type of thing. Let's see, let's go like that. Here it comes. There we are, to a 24-hour one. And let's see if it loads in. And that's where it should load in. And we'll let that work for a little bit. I'm not sure why it's not updating so fast, but let's take a look at it over here on the new beta and see what that's reflecting. Okay, so right there, you see it right there. It's pressing down on it again, but it's not dropping anything too dramatic. It's just just make it larger so we can see. There's the 19th, yeah. So it's basically unchanged. It even looks like it's up a tick, There we are. So the action in the interest rate market itself has been only one direct. Not yeah. Well, you can see right there. For like what's that? 5, 6, 7 days now, they've come down from the 122 area down to the 118 area. So they're putting a lot of pressure into that market, and it's not changing any. Let's put it that way. Let's see if I can get it on there like that. Nope, that's not doing it. Trying to get it. How about this? Cancel setting. Let's try this. Do the default. I'm not sure why it's not doing it. Let me just make sure I'm hearing me too at the same time. Am I hearing me? Yep, I hear me. Okay. Was just double checking to make sure that we haven't lost the internet, because I was starting to wonder. Let's try it one more time. I see the tick charts, intraday tick charts, ticking away, so obviously something's right. What's up with the board of trade? Are they having a problem? Maybe they are. Let's go check and see if the board of trade is having a problem. There, we're seeing the dollar index reflect okay work. It's doing its thing. Let's see. Let's try this again. I go like that. Instrument and tick. Let's see. CBOT electric. There's so many choices of. Let's see. Interest rates. Yeah. See. I see what's doing it. I got it now. Let's do it. This is what's doing it. Let me go over to here. It's the intraday. It's freaking it out. So like there's intraday gold, and it's downloading something. That's what it is. And you can see gold is trying to lift up a little bit in here right now. You see it's down for the day, of course. There's yesterday. Oh, you can't see that. Let's do this. Right there. You can see that's yesterday. Right there. And so it's, it broke down. There's the gold. That means interest rates are rising also. Let's see what else can we do in here. Let's take a look at the euro. See the euro is downloading as we speak. That's what's going on. That's why it's having its problems. There's a stock market. You can see the stock market. That was yesterday. As you can see, it's gone from basically it ran up to 5,220 on the S&P 500 and fell down to 84, which is like a 35-point drop. And now it's it's trying to bounce up a little bit in here to the 95 area and stalling. And I guess when it gets done doing all that, we'll get back to the bond itself. Take a look at the bond market, but at least we can see it in the beta side at this point. So it'll just keep on downloading, and once it's done downloading, let's see. Let's just double check. Not there. There. Okay, we got two products that are not down. Okay, there's another downloaded one. And then there is the dollar index itself. Okay, that's starting to tick away. So it's just collecting up data right now, that's all. No major problems. Those interdays can be a little tough. One of the interest rate factors we can talk about today is the Nikkei. Nikkei right there on the beta. Let's put that up, because what they did is they raised the rates there. We saw them moving up. Now we know why. Yesterday we saw that big spike going on, and now we know why. Is because they raised the interest rates for the first time in 15 years or 20 years, some number like that. It's like not since the early 80s. I'm sorry, not early. Early 08 area. So that was because they've still had some minus interest rates. Again, everybody wants free money. They want that minus, and that's all they want is the minus. They need they want to pay less. And I have no problem with that. The problem is it's government, and the government I would rather it not spend any money at all instead of worrying about paying less. Just don't spend. Don't spend at all. Only spend what you take in. Nothing more than that. See, that's what the problem is now. I think our yearly debt now is $1 trillion in interest. $1 trillion in interest. And so for a $29 trillion economy, that's not the worst thing in the world. It's imagine if you made 29,000 a year and you only paid 1,000 a year in interest. That's not too bad. So that's the good side of it. We can afford it. The thing is that we're not supposed to afford it. They're not supposed to be spending this money like as if it's theirs. We're supposed to spend it like it's ours, and we want it to be spent less, not more. So that's what the problem is, and that's why they're all screaming, we need lower interest rates. Let's not worry about the inflation. There's this simple chatter going around, which I believe will have no traction, is that maybe they'll raise the target from 2% to 3%. So it's like, wow, okay. So that basically they're saying they failed. They can't stop spending. They can't stop dealing with the problems. Anyhow, all right, let's get over to that's the dollar index. Let's get over to, where's it at? Right there. Let's get over to the euro and see what the euro is up to today. There it is right there. Let's see, let's show it to you right there. There's the daily and the weekly on the euro against the dollar. You see it's the fourth day in a sell. It is, but it's in a weekly buy still, so it's not something you have to be too concerned about at the moment. It's more of just a dead cat type of bounce situation. It'll probably, with the weekly staying like this and holding up above the manifold, I would imagine they'll sooner or later come into one or the other. It'll get to a point where they accept interest rates not being dropped, which I doubt. In other words, I don't think they're willing to do that. I think they're just going to keep on holding on until it does happen. And so that's why, stock markets anticipate the future action. That's what that's all about. It always has been all about that. The stock markets are anticipations. They're trying to speculate ahead of things. In other words, they want to be the first one that buys low. That's what everybody wants to be. They want to buy the next Novarta or the next Google or the next Meta, or they want to be in there before everybody else, and that's why they're always anticipating. All right, then from there we'll slide over to the pound. There is the pound, and the pound is looking the same way. Let's widen it out more. You see there, that is 6 days now in a sell. And they really put a push on it at one point today. And you can see the weekly, same as the euro, in a weekly buy. That's the one down at the bottom. You see that right there. It's been in a weekly buy for 3 weeks since the beginning of this particular pop, I guess you could say. I guess there's the beginning, or you could say that was the low of the low. It went into the weekly sell, made the low, and then it kind of hesitated, making higher lows in a sense, then finally jumped into the weekly buy and then took off and took out this whole area there. Like those sound effects. And so the cable is looking fine. It's and again, it's trapped in that same situation. It's in a neutral position, and that neutral position is that it's in a daily sell, and it has been going down on a daily basis. And then on a weekly buy, it's still higher than where it went into the weekly buy. So the longer term trend is up. The shorter term trend is down. Let's see. Let's see if everything else is. Let's see. Let's check this out. Let's go to the intraday. So there's the cable, and that's not filled in yet either. Having some problems with this stuff. Interesting. I think I'm just going to close it and start over again. There we are. Did I get the right one? I did. And there's the 30-year. See, that had it all tangled up. Now I go like this and shift it to showing us 24-hour market. There it is. And you see it's trying. Actually, we saw that on the beta. It's just up a tick. It's trying to get up. It's playing with the weekly buy. So interest rates are trying. Remember, traders, when you see from the top here of this small top of the last 10 days, when it goes down, that means interest rates are rising. Okay? The price of the bond goes down, interest rates are rising. And so in this case here now, it seems to be trying to bottom in here, make a higher low compared to there, and see if it, if it starts to go up, that means rates are going down. That's what everybody wants around here. They want the price of the bond to go up, so interest rates are going down. All right. Now from there, let's see if we can open up that other page again, where we look at some of the intradays themselves. There was the gold. Let's see. There's the stock market. You see the stock market still holding up from this nice drop there, and just trying to do a little bounce in there. All right, from there, we looked at the cable. Let's see if we can see the intraday of the cable itself. No, still not feeding up. Let's see how many days back is it trying to go. No, it's just going back one day. Okay. All right. We won't go look at that intraday. What we'll do is we'll keep on marching. Let's go see the see what the Swiss is doing this morning. There's the Swiss. And you see there, it has made a nice, not about nice, but it's made a turn. It's made a turn on the upside even more now. We're in a daily buy for the last 5 days. And we've been in that weekly buy now, going on 9 weeks. So the fight of inflation, at least the Swiss are taking it serious. Over here we have politicians that are dying to have more money to spend, so they don't really care one way or the other as long as they get more money to spend. When it comes to inflation, they'll worry about that later as far as they're concerned, which is why the markets look kind of crazy, because we know that that's not right. All right, and then from there we'll go over to the yen, and there's the yen. Okay, clean electricity. There's the yen. You can see that pop. Obviously, when it's going up, it's losing against the dollar, and that's because of the interest rate situation. They had to do something about it. They couldn't keep that minus. Nobody on the planet now is running on a minus, and so they had to. We've seen Japan for decades be low. That's why they call it the carry trade currency. The carry trade currency, and they say it's a $20 trillion carry trade. They say that there's $20 trillion dollars, not yen, $20 trillion invested in Japan's carry trade. So, in other words, they've been borrowing. Japan has been borrowing money through a carry trade for decades. So they had to do something. They had to perk up the interest rate to get them to, make the players, I guess you could call them, the investors, that's what they're supposed to be called, But when they're doing that stuff, you start good. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, cool. All right. So from there, we get done looking at the yen. Let's see if we can get intraday on that. That'd be interesting. You can see they're flirting with the weekly too, right there. It is 0.12. It's actually a plus after going into the sell week and a half back, or I guess last week you could say. And let's see. Yeah, there. Yeah, this is the second week in a sell, and now it's going on to a third week, and it's trying to get into the buy. And there is, oh, there we go. There's British pound. They're really lifting that up. Let's go back to the pound for a second, because that's an interesting move. So that's today, right? So they're knocking it down, and it's in a sell, but that bottom that they put in. Let's go back to the intraday, but they put a bottom in there. Let's see if we can spot it all. There it is. So that's that, coming down from there, and then going back into the buy down in here in the 126. What's that? 65 area. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see what the yen looks like. There's the yen. The yen is pretty much the same way. They've been pressing it up and up and up. And we're into the 50s now. You can see at one point, no more than, what was that, about 30 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago, it was up in the 150.60 area. Then fell back down to the 150.44 area. And 43 area, something like that. And, it's trying. It's trying to make another. Looks like it's trying to build a base in there and turn up again. And we're in a intraday buy for 2 bars now, since that bar right there, and it's just barely making any money. It's flat from it. All right, let's go over to the Great Experiment and see what they're up to this morning, because they closed at all-time close yesterday, and that was a wild day too. Let's see if we can find it right here. There we are. Yeah, they did that wild. Someone got slammed. They got trapped. They sold something, and boy, they wish they could buy it back. That's for sure. You can see here, same thing. Second day in a daily buy. Weekly buys going on since like October, so end of October. So it's been going on for half a year, and that is the all-time high right there. And this is the all-time close right there. And so it's flirting with it again today. And it has made a higher high from yesterday, but it has not taken out the all-time high yet. And we were looking for this area. We're at the bottom end of our range, bottom of our range, because I was looking for like 37, and we got the 36 and just pennies. Or ticks, so it was like 36.10. So we still have a lot more to go. All right. From the Turkish lira, let's see. Let's see what else we got here. There is the South African rand. That's usually where we go to. We run over to the South African rand. It's been popping up the last couple of days, and obviously you can see gold has been going down as it's been going up. We're not, with all the, I guess you could say, with all the confusion or nervousness that's going on, it's, and the politics, you would have to assume that they're not going to be liquidating any gold. They may be taking profits or paying bills, but they're not going to be like, getting, shorting this thing. gold likes lower interest rates, and obviously in the future there is lower interest rates to come, so it's pretty hard for them to want to sell it, that's for sure. And that is, after 25 minutes, let's have a sip of tea. That's good. All right. Quiet day again, I can see. Let's go take a look at gold. There's gold. They knocked it down a little bit and then back up again. Looks like it went down to, it was $10 lower. Still in that sell for a bunch of days now. This is the 6th day. And let's go over to the beta, because we had a question about that a couple days ago. All right, yeah, so it went into the buy yesterday, and it's trying to stay in the buy today. So it's telling us that they're not surrendering. Same time, you can see the weekly. You can't see any of that. At the same time, you see the weekly on the beta up in a buy for 5 weeks. So it's showing some strength in here, and it's trying there. There's no doubt about it. And we're not seeing the update yet for the algorithm there, but it is showing you the weekly algorithm very comfortably up. That's for sure. All right. Let's take a look at silver. See what the silver complex is looking like. There it is there. That one is doing a lot more strength. I mean, you're looking now at 9 weeks in a buy. You're looking at, what is that? That's 7. And then another 4 is 11. So basically 11 out of the last 12 days it's in a daily buy. From the 22 area to the 25 area. So that's a pretty good move. And that, the South African Rand, has been showing us that they want to take the metals up because it's been losing against the dollar. Okay, let's put in. There it is right there. There's the South African Rand. These last few days have been up and away. This action here kind of made us believe we were going to see another rally, and we've seen it in silver, but we're not really seeing it in gold. Gold has been stalled out ever since it bottomed down in there. I guess, look, the currency traders must know that they can't get past 18 and change anymore. That currency, when we first started, paying attention to the South African Rand against the metals complex, was trading in the 12s and the 13s. It's pulling a turkey on us. It's up to 18 and 19 now. That hurts. That's a big move. There was a story. We always call the South African Rand the #1 brick in the world. And there was a story over the weekend talking about how the BRICS are trying. I mean, they are expanding. They're trying to set up a network so they can compete with, I guess you would say, the more industrialized nations where all the money is. I guess that's the best way to describe it, really. It really comes down to the fact that the BRICS are made up of countries that have real financial problems. And so they're doing the smart thing economically. They're trying to tune into an alternate network so that they can function better. Afford to be whatever it is that they're looking to do. The economy for them is not so pretty. When your currencies are moving around like that and you can't get people to invest in your country, it makes it very tough. It comes down to policies. There's this great debate still about socialism versus capitalism. And, it's not a fair debate. That's the problem. Because when you look at capitalism, capitalism does a really fine job. But they always confuse fascism with capitalism. And the fascism is basically the socialists taking full control of an economy and letting only their friends and participate. So, if we would have an honest look at the situation instead of saying, "Oh no, you're wrong," and walking away, it'd be a better thing. But unfortunately, that is the way it is. So, the BRICS are trying to be the alternative, find an alternative system to participate in, which makes total sense to me. That's the way it should be. But, it always turns into a fiasco because, again, remember, most of them are basically dictatorships. So in the end result is that, just because they're trying to find an alternative, in the BRICS situation, it's hard to do so when you know that it's still going to be dysfunctional and a fascist dictatorship of some form. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it doesn't work. We know that much. In other words, capitalism is free markets and free people. You can see how America is disorganized at the moment and in great debt because our socialists are in power. And so it's a odd story that goes on, and people don't want to talk about it in an honest way. But South African Rand now has leaped up into the 17s, 18s, and 19s, and hanging more in the 19s and the 18s at this point, because of the government becoming narrow, or being less friendly to free markets and free people. And that's where we stand. All right, let's go take a look at platinum. Oh, you know what? Copper also took a nice dive. I'm not sure what that's all about, because I really thought we were seeing an anticipation in the Chinese market. And let's go over to see what they did in the Chinese market when it comes to the stock indices. Let's look at the Hang Seng for a minute here just to see the relationship between the currencies in those. There's the Hang Seng. It was down. It was down for the last 2 days. And it's in a daily sell. And it's starting to flirt with the weekly sell as we speak. So they're falling. They're falling down. And so then now we go over to the copper market. Where's that? Right there. There's the copper market. And it's like, that was an interesting spike we had for the last couple of days in copper. They were really reaching for it. I interpreted it at the time as being like a unknown caller. And so I was looking at it more of TikTok. I really thought that, you're talking about possibly having to sell TikTok now. So, that's a big possibility. So if you have to sell TikTok, that could bring $120, $130, $140 billion back to China. That's a big number over there. We talked about this yesterday. How, as much as everybody wants to pretend they're the second largest economy in the world, they're not. It's the European Union. But, through evidence, we've seen physical evidence that they can't afford to do things. They're really they're really trapped, and they're really kind of against things are they're on the ropes. They really are. They have companies that are worth 10, 12, 14 billion dollars, and they can't even pay like $15 million payments. Imagine if you had $15 billion in your assets, and you have a payment coming up, and it's only $15 million. Not even 1% of the assets you have. It's like saying you had $10 in your pocket, and I ask you for a quarter, or just 10 cents, and you have $100 in there, and you can't give me 10 cents. So that says a lot about China, because nothing else does. That's the problem. In other words, we don't see any really good statistics. when you have a fixed currency, it's hard to measure what GDP is. It's hard to measure what CPI is and PPI. With a fixed currency, with it frozen all the time at one price or very close to one price. In other words, it's locked between the high sixes and low sevens or mid sevens most of the time, and that's it. It doesn't go anywhere. Imagine if Turkey had been locked between 6.5 and 7, or 6.5 and 7.5 for the last 10 years. But no, that currency has gone from 1 to 36. Well, it's hard to believe that it's hard to believe that we don't understand what the value of Turkey is. We do, because the currency is floating. But the Chinese yuan is fixed to the dollar, and it's decided every day by a committee. So who knows? I keep on. It reminds me of the Soviet Union, when the Soviet Union opened up, and the ruble was at 4. Now it's obviously at like 90 something, but it was at 4, and then all of a sudden we had, in 1994, we had a problem, and it was called long-term capital management was trading the bonds, and got in trouble, and the markets collapsed in Russia and so forth. And next thing you know, the ruble was trading at 8. It doubled. You imagine what would happen to China if it went from 7 to 14 in one day, and then a year later it's trading at 21. There would be no, I think they claim they're a $14 trillion economy. All of a sudden it would be a $3 trillion economy. So, that's why I'm always doubtful, but they can't make payments. They're always going into receivership and losing companies because they can't make payments. And they're property companies. It's not like it's a manufacturing operation where you're building something and people don't need it anymore. Real estate companies, the land is still going to be there next year, 10 years from now. It's going to be there, and it's not going to rust. It's just going to sit there, and you can always go and do something with it. So that's why we always talk this way. It's always confusing. So when we look at what were we looking at? We're looking at the South African rand. All of a sudden, the rand has gone into that situation where it doesn't want to let go anymore. The rand seems to be higher and higher and higher. And when you compare it to gold, we've talked about this, the comparison thing. We've done conversations and webinars about the comparison thing. And the comparison thing keeps on showing us that something is wrong in South Africa now, governmentally. To the point where their currency now is trading 25, almost 30% higher than normal. That's a lot. Just ask the Turks what that's like, to have your currency trading at 25 or 30% higher on a given week. Their currency moves that much in a week. Ouch. All right. Let's see, what else can we talk about here. So that is the metals. Let's look at platinum. I'm really surprised at the platinum action. You can see it's the second day in a sell. It's trying to go into a weekly sell again. This combination of gold and platinum and silver, and trying to understand the relationships between all of them anymore, is really sloppy. It's not consistent. It's not what we know. And then I always keep on hearing these stories about trying to buy physical platinum, and it's like trading at over $2,000 an ounce, but at the exchange it's at $8.99. I don't understand that. That seems like some type of government manipulation. So, all right, that is the metals complex, and that is the South African rand. Let's go from the rand to the energy sector now. Let's go take a look at that. We used to look at Canadian dollar all the time. Let's do that today. We haven't looked at the Canadian in a while. It just, that government is so upside down that there's not much that can be said about it at this point. And you can see it there. Went into that weekly buy in the 134 area, and we're only at the 136. It's not exactly like it's ripping through the roof or anything like that. Let's put that in there. All right. So it's in the weekly buy, and it goes into those little daily buys and makes a little money each time, it seems like. That one didn't do too good. That one made money, and that one didn't do too good either. And that one barely broke even, and then that one made money, and that one didn't do well at all, and now it's making it all back there. So what it really comes down to is Canadian is really trapped. Their government, we know what their government's doing. We can see it very clearly. They're really trapped, and they don't really have enough votes in the parliament to do anything, just enough to control it, and that's about it. And they're partnered up with, I think, last I heard was they have socialists or something like that partnered up with them. So Trudeau doesn't have any room at all to hold on to powers. He has to placate them, make them happy. Parliament makeup in Canada. Wonder if they'll hide it. Google will hide almost anything. Parliament. Parliament and Canada makeup. They may not tell us. They'll hide it. Make up in parties. Let's see. House of Commons of Canada, 338. Let's see. Will they tell us exactly who's in charge? Okay, there it is. Ontario. Total seats, population, electoral quantity. But they're not telling us who is in charge. Let's see. Let's try to go back one more. Because as I've been told, is that the party standings in the House of Commons. Let's see. Does that tell us anything? That doesn't tell us anything either. They'd love. Okay, they're Labor. Okay, Alberta only has 2 Labor and 30 CPC. Okay, so total Labor is 156. CPC is 118. And that's what that is. So I was told that they're a minority government. And what is BQ? They don't really tell you what BQ is. They just have the 2. NDP and GP. So they're not really making it clear exactly how that is. Changes in membership. Let's see if that does anything. Nah, they're not going to make it very clear. It's just that it's Labor's in charge, and that's it. All right. So I wanted to see who the makeup is, how they, got there, because I've been told that the socialists have control now. So that's Canadian, and usually what happens, this is what's really amazing with the Canadian, is that the Canadian, when it's going down, it's gaining against the dollar, and when it's going up, it's losing against the dollar. And when it's going down, usually oil is gaining. Okay? Now in this case here, you can see the Canadian has been slowly drifting up and losing against the dollar, but at the same time, the oil market right there looks the same as the Canadian. So in other words, it shouldn't be. It should be, down at below 70 or 65 or something like that. But instead, it's trading at 82, 81. So it's a very odd situation as usual. It's doing that odd thing. So. All right, what else do we got going on here? Let's go take a look at. What are we taking a look at? Let's go take a look at. There's April crude, as you can see on the screen, and then let's go to Brent, and we'll go over to the beta. Beta. There's the crude over there. I'll show you that. Right there. Doing the same thing. In that buy and climbing up. And then let's go take a look at the Brent right there. There's Brent. Brent is above the 86, heading for the 88 now. Solidly in 4 weeks in a buy and 3 weeks in a buy, and you can see 4 days in a buy. So it's made a very nice move over the last. It's gone from the 84 almost up to 88. And then we go to nat gas, natural gas. Let's see, nat gas. There it is, right there. Natural gas is kind of starting to back off again. It's in a daily sell for about 8 days now, and it's flirting with a weekly buy this week. They're trying to turn it. Are we seeing that on the other platform? Let's see. I know we started seeing it try to perk. Not yet. And we'll just show it to you over here. There we are. So you can see the natural gas is trying to lift. Let's put it up here. You can see it right there. It is lifting a little bit. Right there. You see it's trying to do the lift. Right there. See that? Let's see. Trying to get back up to where it fell from that nice move a couple days ago. From 175 to 165 on last Friday. All right. Ooh, Bitcoin down $4,000 today? Ouch. I know we've been... Let's go take a look at the Bitcoin. Just saw it come across the tape. There it is. There's the Bitcoin. Come down from the 74 area. We are now in the... Let's do this. We'll go like this. So you can see it all. There was the 74 area. And now we are in the 63 area. Real big drop there, 4,000. It's been in a daily sell now for 5 days. And the weekly is trying to turn and roll over too. We're getting that same thing. And when we look at the GBTC, that's the ETF, which is obviously nowhere near as accurate, but because it's a layered situation. Let's see, GBTC, where are you? There it is, right there. It's in a weekly buy, and it's in the daily sell. That's okay, that's good. And you can see it's come down from the 66 area down to the 59 area. So it's feeling the pain also at the same time. But wow, what a drop, huh? And then from there, we'll go back to the energy thing, and we're going to take a look at natural gas through the what's it called? The energy company in Spain right there. And you can see it's still bouncing underneath. It's in the 19s more. It keeps on playing with that area, but it doesn't really, and let's put it this way, there's so much force on that because of the election, and because, look, if the election goes one way, that thing's going to go, it's going to be sitting down even further. I mean, they're going to crush, Mr. Trump has driven oil to minus at times, so he will drive, the energy cost way, way down, which helps out the average person. That's his nature. Mr. Trump, is very. There's a lot to be said about Mr. Trump that you don't hear about anymore. You don't know the truth, or you don't hear the truth. It's out there. You can find the truth, but they hide it. They do a good job of hiding it. And Mr. Trump definitely does not like punishing the middle class and people with low incomes. He's very big at helping them out. He does the opposite. He's like a fairy godfather at times. The stories of him giving money away is incredible. People don't realize who he is, and he's doing something, and he helps them out, or they help him out. Being nice, and then he turns around and does crazy things like pays off their mortgage at the house or things like that. He's just very, very good guy at heart. He's a very good guy at heart, and he's a tough guy. He is a tough guy. And that's what you see is you see the tough guy that can come out, and the media loves playing that up. So, do you know that Mr. Trump was head of his class at the military academy and realized that he did not want to go to war and do things, so he went to a college instead, like a Wharton, and shifted over to there. And but he was number one at the military academy that he graduated from. So he was top of the class, the point of the spear. And you won't know that. They keep on just calling him a draft dodger because he chose not to go to war. After he graduated, he chose that he didn't want to be a part of that. So, all right. So obviously he knew what military was because he was in it for 4 years in the sense that he went to a military academy. And he achieved the top position, but you won't hear that. All right. What else is new here? I guess that's about it when it comes to the energy sector. And like I said, they're really pushed around because Mr. Trump gets back in power. He's going to knock the prices down. Just like that's the thing is he can talk about it and people go, oh yeah, sure. But we actually had $39 minus barrel of oil at one point with Mr. Trump. $39 minus. In other words, you had to pay somebody $39 to take the oil. Here, take this oil. Here, it's $39. Take it. It's yours. Don't give me money. I'm giving you money. That was what it was. What a hoot. If he had been a Democrat, they would put a crown on his head. They'd be talking about him as like the second coming of Christ. But being a Republican, he's evil. He's evil. All right. Where do we go from here? Let's go over to the world indices. Let's see what Taipei looks like this morning. Taipei looking very fine. You know what I found out? And that is that Taiwan, the closest island to the mainland, not Taipei, but the closest island, I think it's called Qinli, is only 3 miles off the coast of China. That's it. So what is their malfunction? Like they can't take an island 3 miles off their own land? They must be very incompetent. No wonder that they have billions of dollars lost and falling apart in that economy. They are really incompetent. That's Taipei. Let's take a look at, we already saw what the Nikkei is doing. It was up because of the interest rate increase. Let's take a look at the Kospi. Let's see, where are you, Kospi? There it is right there. Kospi's down a little bit today. Not much, not too bad. It's in a daily sell for a second, going on a third day now. Excuse me. And holding up in the weekly. And let's go back to that Taipei too, because last couple of days has been computer chip day. So you can see there the weeklies, 10 weeks in a weekly buy. You can see off and on. What's that from? Say there was 5 days and then 1, and then 3 days. That's 8 out of 9 days it was in a buy, and then now it's 9 out of 10 days in a buy. Is that right? No. 9 out of 11 days it's in a buy. That's what it is. So that's not too bad. It's holding up for a country that supposedly has the second most powerful nation in the world, trying to destroy it. Ooh, Robbie the Robot. Okay, there is the All Ordinary Index out of Australia, perking its head up a little bit there after a couple days in the sell. We are in a daily sell now for the last 3 days, and it's still in the weekly buy. So not too bad there. Shooting over to the Nifty 50. Let's see what the Nifty 50 is up to. There's India. It's trying to get into the daily buy. You can see that right there. Now it's down for the day, but it's trying to turn a little bit. We'll see how that plays out. We can see it's going into the weekly sell. That's probably why we tried to get into the buy and failed, and it's probably rolling over again on the daily basis. But you can see the weekly is really pushing into the sell side. All right, and I guess we have to come up with some type of names for systems. I mean, what do we use for a title today? It's like we really were on a ramble about free markets and free people, and free money. Politicians love free money. That's what they want. Government wants free money. So why don't we go with that? And that's probably, the interest rates. Government needs free money. Yeah. I think that's what it comes down to. interest rates, government wants free needs. It's even better. Needs free. Oop. Let's see. How do we get rid of that? Like that, maybe? So something went wrong there. It wants to give me stickers. I don't want stickers. Down. Where's that? Oh, there it is. All right. We'll start to sing now, too. Now we got something there. Ah, come on. Let's go with dollar symbols. Like that. All right. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. To all our trading friends. Later, later, traders. Let's see, with tomorrow is Happy to Hump Day, and I believe Pal speaks today at 2:30 or tomorrow at 2:30. So that's the name of the game there. And maybe he's going to try to explain something about free money, because that's the only thing I can figure out that's going on. Roger Dodger all, and to all, a good afternoon.